So I definitely had to I definitely had to think the volume's up. I definitely had to look back for a second because she definitely flattered me with saying I'm as good as an educator, but come on now. If you know, you know. So today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin again, but I just want everybody to put in the chat from a scale of like one being you know absolutely nothing about Bitcoin or even trading, and then five is like, okay, you're pretty knowledgeable. Just put where you are on a scale from 1 to 5. So I know if I need to speak simpler in simpler terms, or I'm gonna have to be repeating stuff, and it's not a problem. Okay, so we have a 4. It really should be a 5. All right. So I know we have some other people here. We have William. Okay, 4. T. You can put what you know when you can, or how comfortable you are between scale of 1 to 5. Okay. Yeah. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, and also, tell the truth and be as realistic with yourself as possible because it's not bad. Okay. So we have a 2. Okay. Okay. This is okay. This is okay. It's all right. But okay, between a 3 to 4. Okay, it's okay. So today is basically, if you were here for the last class, is basically gonna be like just a refresher because what was requested was essentially how to get into a Bitcoin trade. But tell me this, true or false? Is getting into a Bitcoin trade the same as getting into a forex trade? And we're not going to think about the different price point or anything like that. Just on MetaTrader 4, if you wanted to get into a forex trade, would it be the same as getting into a Bitcoin trade? You just put true or false. What do you think? Okay. Well, I want to say that the right answer would be true because you're literally taking the same steps as if you was getting into a forex trade. The only difference is with the lot sizes. That's a difference. And then also with the Bitcoin market itself, because she moves how she wants to move. Okay. And that's definitely a lot different from any of the other forex pairs. So I guess let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so essentially, the what came to me was if I didn't know or was new to trading Bitcoin, like what would I do? So I sat within myself for a couple minutes earlier today and just took some notes on some things that I would do if I was new to trading Bitcoin. So some things that I have here, and I don't know if it's in any particular order, but y'all can let me know if you have any extras, especially for the more experienced traders. But the things that I would do is I would definitely mark up my chart and mark up my support and resistance levels. That's something I would do. Um, I would understand the lot sizes when it came to Bitcoin. I would understand the lot sizes. I would make sure that I was checking the currency strength on Finviz and also to look at the news. I would also, the most important thing is I would definitely get into a trade. I would get into a trade and I would also continue to keep trading and watching the market. That's what I would do. Continue trading and watching the market as often as possible. What I did was I was trading Bitcoin every single day. So that's daily, every day. Does anybody have any other things that you would do if you was if you was trading Bitcoin, or even when you go to trade Forex, what's some other things that you do? Um, Not excluding, of course, having our indicators set up. But is there anything else that you do? I guess I'm gonna give it like 5 more seconds. But if that's everything, if you feel like that's everything, then just be like, okay, that's everything. All right. So I'm going to continue to keep moving forward. Okay. All right. So for the most part, I'm going to run down, and hopefully you have notes. I'm going to run down like what it is that I would do. Okay. I would mark up my chart by marking my support and resistance areas. So that's like putting multiple horizontal lines. I don't know if y'all have seen my chart before, but we're definitely going to share my screen and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So I will mark up my support and resistance. I would also understand the lot sizes when it comes to Bitcoin because it's different than Forex lot sizes. And then I would also make sure I'm checking the currency strength and even looking at the news. If you like to read, it would definitely benefit you to do so to be more knowledgeable about Bitcoin. And then, of course, the main thing we doing here is getting into trades. So I would get into a trade, not be scared because I know that's a part of it with trading Bitcoin is being scared. But if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's okay. And then, of course, continuing to trade it and watching the market because as you trade on a daily basis, you'll just get to know the market. But I'll go more into depth with it. Okay, so as far as with the support and resistance levels, um, marking up your chart when you trade Bitcoin to indicate your support and resistance is very important because um, those lines that you're putting on your screen on your chart, like those support and resistance lines, those are potential entry points. So what I realized with Bitcoin is like it really does stay true to support and resistance. Like, yes, I have got disrespected many times where I thought, okay, I could get in for a buy, but the market decided to keep dropping. It happens. But I can definitely tell you that more often than not, those are really good potential entry points to get in. So previously in the chat, I posted a lot of entry points for Bitcoin, especially if you wanted to get in for buys and also set pending orders. And all of those entry points that I provided essentially came from me marking up my support and resistance. So it was literally wherever I put those horizontal lines, which I will get more into depth about. Or I should actually probably just show my screen now. So I'll share my screen now on MT4 to show you all what I mean. I don't know if I can share my screen on my phone. Give me 1 second. All right, y'all. So give me 1 second. I'm about to share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Just go ahead and type sevens in the chat if you could see my screen. And if you could still hear me as well. Okay. So I see seven. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. So, okay. So this is my chart right here. Um, Bitcoin, of course, broke 30K. And when I started trading Bitcoin, I think it was beneath 30K. So if I was to, let's just say for the sake of this, just so you can see back in the past, if you see all of those horizontal lines, I know it looks crazy. Just let me know. Put some sevens in the chat if you see those horizontal lines. Okay. So those horizontal lines are essentially all of my support and resistance lines that I have set up here. So essentially what I did was I got in the market every single day, and I traded every single day, even if it was in my demo account or in my live account. So I definitely traded. And as I traded, I was able to mark up these lines. Now, when you're marking up your support and resistance, and I have like basically where Bitcoin is right now, like where is it now? Oh, dang, I didn't even know I moved that. So, okay, so it's at like 30K now. Um, what I would definitely recommend is that you go back in the past. But this is on a daily. So I would recommend going back in the past. As you can see, there's no lines. Okay, it's a little laggy. I would recommend to go back in the past and start to mark up support and resistance. And you could do it on the day. You could do it on a higher time frame. That's the best. But yeah, I would look at it by the day, and then even look at it by the 4 hour. Then go to the hour to get even tighter entry points. But honestly, I like to hold my trades for a longer time. So I would probably look at it by the day and look at it by the 4 hour to mark your support and resistance area. And essentially, how you're going to do this, even if we looked at it by the day, even if we looked at it by the day, okay, so on MT4, I'm just going to click this. Um, it looks like the shapes. So let me go back. I'm just gonna tap my screen and I'm gonna click the shapes right there. If you can see, there's a square, a circle, and a triangle. I'm gonna click that, and then I'm gonna go to the plus button, and I'm gonna click horizontal line. So when I click the horizontal line, it takes me back to my chart. And as you can see, this green line right here that I'm like moving up and down, that's the horizontal line now that I have on my chart. And so if I want to mark a resistance level, I can see that now this is a little high, but I can see that the market resisted right there at 47,000. And I also see that there's a support right here. It's like it's giving 37K. Okay. It's giving 37K, but it says 36,908. So you can also put a line right here too, just underneath the wicks. So that's like 36,375, right? So I'm just gonna click my shapes again, click the plus sign, do a horizontal line. Let me scroll back over here. Probably stay right here. But essentially, what you could do is, I think that move. That's the thing too. If you could get like a stylist or something, that'll work. That'll work. Or just go on Trading View. So my Trading View is definitely the free version right now. So I don't have too many indicators on there. But I'm definitely looking forward to paying so I can put all of my indicators on there and I don't have to use my phone. So you could even go to the 4 hour. Well, as you can see here, Bitcoin hasn't went over, excuse me, Bitcoin hasn't went over 31,497. So you can even put a line there too, because as you can see, that's where the market has resisted. It hasn't went up over that point for now. So we can even do that too. But essentially, if you have not traded Bitcoin, like I said, that's literally the best thing that you can start to do so that you can make more educated decisions when you decide to get in for a trade. Like, it would make no sense for me to try to get in for a buy right now, thinking that my entry point could be 31,405 because you see that the market has rejected. So you might be looking for a sell when the market gets up to that point. But as you can actually see, for the past, couple of days, well, it's been over a couple of days, you can see that the market hasn't actually went over 31,405 where we have that green line. Can everyone see that? Can you see that the market has been consolidating? Just put some sevens in the chat. And when I say consolidating, I mean that the market is moving sideways. It's been moving sideways, like between 29,000 and 31,000. Okay. Okay, that's good. So that's something, support and resistance is good for that because it'll help you, understand where you can be getting into the market and where you can be getting out of the market. Now, Bitcoin definitely can do what it wants to do. So just because the market has been resisting at that place, 31,405, just because it's been resisting there does not mean that it can't break out of that area. Okay, it doesn't mean that it can't break out. And you also know, well, if you this is something you don't even have to trade to know that Bitcoin is buying. That's because everybody literally, says that. So you don't even really have to be a trader to know like that Bitcoin is buying. So I mean, this John could really just break out. Like you could really just break out and just continue to keep buying, and this would be a really good entry point because as you can see, the market right now, even where this purple line here, that's a level of support that I've marked previously. And as you can see, it seems like the last candle for the 4 hour has like respected that. So yeah. Does everybody understand the support and resistance? And basically knowing that you can use that for an entry point because you could have got in at 29. Sorry. You could have got in at 29,973 and you would have been in profit for a buy if you had got in right there. All right. So another important thing when it comes down to um, trading Bitcoin is understanding the lot sizes. Okay, so the lot sizes are a lot different when you're trading Bitcoin as opposed to trading traditional Forex. So I'm gonna quiz y'all. Okay, this is gonna be the quiz bowl. All right, so can y'all let me know what is 1.00 for Bitcoin? If you don't know, it's okay. You're about to learn today. What is 1.00 for Bitcoin? If you was getting into a Bitcoin trade and for your lot size, you put in 1.00, like every time the market moves 1 pip, what would you be either gaining or losing? Okay, so we have 1 cent. Do you have any other answers? You can just guess. 1.00. All right, I'll give it about 10 more seconds. Okay. Yep, we have the right answer right there. It's okay. William said 1 cent and T said $1. Yep, the right answer actually is $1. So 1.00 for Bitcoin is $1. So it's exactly as it is. If someone was giving you 1.00 when it comes to money, they would be giving you $1. Yes, $1. So if you got to a Bitcoin trade and put 0.50, what would that be? I'm going to type it into the chat. 0.50. What would that be? Just based off of you knowing that 1.00 is $1, what would be 0.50? 50 cents. That's good. Y'all don't know 50 cents? Come on now. 50 cents. Okay, good. All right. That's good. Yep. So for the most part, Bitcoin lot sizes are exactly what it is. If you was just looking at, currency in general, well, USD at least 0.50 will be 50 cent, 1.00 will be a dollar. Now, if you was getting into a forex trade and you saw this, I'm about to type it in the chat. Now, if you was getting to a forex trade and you saw that 0.10, what would that be? Like what's that lot size? Like what would that be? Like for every time the market went up 1 pip, what would you get if your lot size was 0.10? A dollar. Good. Of course, right? Of course you gonna get it right. So yeah, pretty much it's a dollar. Yep, it's a dollar. So you can already see right there. If you get it messed up, if you get it messed up with Bitcoin, like let's say you got into a Bitcoin trade and you actually put 0.10, you're expecting to get a dollar per pip, right? But then you look at your broker and you like, what's going on here? Okay. Yeah, you only getting 10 cents per pip. You only getting 10 cents per pip. So you definitely want to make sure that you understand what's going on, because you don't want to get into a CAD JPY trade and be like, oh, I'm about to get it for 1.00. Like, don't be mad. Don't be mad if the trade don't go in your favor because you got the lot sizes wrong. So you definitely want to make sure that you pay attention to that. And even if you decide to start trading other cryptos, what I would do is I would just test it out in my demo account with the smallest lot size that you can think of, which for Bitcoin is actually a penny. So I've actually gotten into trades using 1 penny or 2 pennies. If you ever got into a penny Bitcoin trade, just go ahead and put some sevens in the chat, because I personally would recommend that if you're new. Exactly. Okay, that penny can definitely make that lane switch. So I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that if you're new to trading Bitcoin, just so you're not risking a lot of money, but you're also getting some experience. Because, I mean, like I've made a lot of money off of just, investing 50 cents, and not just 50 cents in one trade, but 50 cents spread out in a lot of, smaller trades, and have made money doing that. So don't feel like with Bitcoin, just you have to get in and you have to be doing 10 cents per pip. Like, because I know this market moves fast, and it it covers a lot of distance. Okay, Bitcoin can cover a lot of distance in one day. But the purpose is for you to get comfortable trading Bitcoin, and then upping your lot sizes, and going from there. So, yep, just make sure that you are just cognizant about your lot sizes when it comes to trading Bitcoin, and understanding that it's different from Forex and vice versa. Because if you got into a Bitcoin trade, trading with the lot size you typically would with Forex, you wouldn't really be, it wouldn't really affect you too much. You would probably be getting less money than what you expected, but at least it's better than, having your lot sizes messed up and then you trading Forex using a Bitcoin lot sizes, and now it's, you're potentially losing money. So yeah, start with the 0.01 lot size and then work your way up from there, the more comfortable that you are trading Bitcoin. All right, so something else that you definitely want to make sure that you're doing, um, is you're checking the currency strength when it comes to trading. And what I like to do is I like to look at the currency strength on FinViz. So I'm going to show y'all FinViz, and then I'm going to talk about um, like how to tell, you know, what the market is doing based off of the strength. Okay, so if everybody can see my screen, you can see FinViz. Just put some sevens in the chat so I know that y'all can see it. Okay, thank you. I see some sevens. All right, so FinViz right here. This is a good website. Um, so you can go ahead and just write it down, finviz.com, and essentially at when you look at the menu bar here at the top, you'll see crypto right there next to Forex. So I just go to the crypto side. But let me zoom back in and we'll look at Bitcoin for a second. So this is good. I mean, the one thing I can tell you about the currency strength is that, well, at least on Finviz, it can get a little laggy. It can get a little laggy. Um, but if you haven't looked at this market in a while, and I would definitely say, because you could tell what it's doing when you're watching the market if you're in there every single day. But like Finviz is still good because when it comes down to like the strength of this currency, is like you could look at the colors that they have, like the background, and you can tell like, okay, what is this doing? So as you can see here, it's like a dark, it's like a dark maroon color, and the darker the color is like the least strength that it has going in that direction. So typically we assume red with selling, and then of course blue with buying. But on here it's green with buying and red with selling. So you can see that it's like a really dark burgundy color, which lets you know that like the strength for selling is not that strong. It's not that strong. And it actually, whenever you see these darker colors like that, and even if you looked at Euro USD, which it's supposed to be crypto, right? So that's interesting. But hey, Euro USD is right there, right? You can see that's a darker green color. So I realized that with the darker the colors, it's like the more it seems as though the market is consolidating, as you've seen. But as the colors get lighter, you know that there's a trend and it's the strength has increased in that trend. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because I think I'm explaining it right, but it may not make sense. Okay, so we got a yes. Thank you. All right, so let's just scroll over here to, I think this is what, Bitcoin Cash, BCH, and EUR. You see that, right? You see how red it is? Like it's a bright red color. When I look at that, that's letting me know that this drawing has been selling and that it's really been selling. It's really been selling. And coincidentally, well, by vice versa, actually, if this was to be a bright green color, you would know that this thing has been buying. You would know that. So something else that you can definitely look at here is the this section right here where it says 1 day relative performance. You can even see right there as well, just from looking at that Bitcoin, it has been, of course, selling. It has been selling, but you can also see that dark, that maroon color, which lets you know that the selling is not that strong. Like it's not that strong, especially not compared to Bitcoin Cash. So does everybody understand that? Like the importance of Finviz and even how cool it is to look at the colors and you can kind of tell like, okay, what exactly is going on right now? You know, is it selling? Is it buying? Is it consolidating? You could just put some seven. And also, yeah, I think that's what I had to say. I felt like I had something else to say about this, but if it comes back to me later, I'll let y'all know. Okay, cool. So yeah, definitely keep this tab up on your phone. This tab is up on my phone, so just keep it up on your phone. The currency strength definitely does change, and oh yeah, this is what I want to tell y'all. Like I said, it can definitely be laggy. It can definitely be laggy. Um, so you can't just go based off of just this currency strength and what it says, because you'll be like, oh, it's about to buy. That's what you're thinking, and then you go back, you click back, and then well, then you're on your chart. Then you see that Bitcoin is selling crazy, and then you go look at the currency strength, and then you refresh the page, and then it's like light red, you know. So you definitely want to make sure that yeah, you pay attention to this, but it can get laggy, and so I think it should be the only thing that you pay attention to. Does everybody get that? All right. Okay. Oh yeah, I also had a note here too about like you can also read the news articles if you want to see what's going on with Bitcoin. I know that I typically use Cash App to fund up my account, so Cash App will also tell me like, oh, Bitcoin is up 5% today to, let's just say, 33K. You know, it'll say that also, so I know like Cash App be giving me like different alerts and things like that. But yeah, you could definitely look up and read what other people have to say, with their predictions, with what Bitcoin is gonna do. Um, you can do that, but also I feel like it's just best to make your own decisions, like, and trade consistently so that you can become a lot much more better at, you know, predicting what Bitcoin is gonna do, what you would like to see, but also depending on how long you hold your trades as well, because that's different. Maybe some people want to get in and like just scalp in the market during, the best recommended times to trade Bitcoin, or maybe you want to hold your trades over the course of days. So that's up to you. Um, but yeah. Um, okay, so the next thing is getting into a trade, right? Of course. If I was new to trading Bitcoin, at some point you have to bite the bullet. You can't be afraid, and you just have to get into the trade. Like, without feeling, scared. You might feel a little anxious, like, what is it going to do? But you might as well just give it a try. And if you're wrong, it's okay. That's why I definitely recommend using a lower lot size, a smaller lot size rather. And then if you wanted to trade in your demo account, it's like no harm, no foul. So, okay, yeah. So when you're getting into a trade, right? We just talked about checking the currency strength. So that's definitely something that you can do. Um get into a trade, also definitely making sure that you have your favorite indicators that are set up um as well. You can see what my favorite indicators are. It's not and it just works. I mean, some of these indicators I'm probably not gonna have to need, eventually, but I like it just the way it is because it works for me. Um, but yeah, other than that, what do I have here? Yep. So when you're getting into a trade, like, you definitely want to make sure, of course, that you're looking at the charts and deciding to mark up your support and resistance. Um, or yeah, you have to mark up your support and resistance. So that's something you could do ahead of time. Or you could just be like, okay, I'm just gonna look at where it is right now, and then of course scrolling back in the past and seeing what is done. But yeah, so mark up your support and resistance lines, and then start looking for potential entry points, and then also looking at your indicators. Like, and something I have wrote down here is like, even if it's wrong, just try. Like, don't try to be perfect. Um, just give it a try. Okay. And of course, it leads to my next point, which is to trade consistently. Trade frequently and do it as often as possible, because this gives you the opportunity to be familiar with how this market moves. And that's the thing. It's like trading Bitcoin in this particular market is a lot different than trading Forex, because Bitcoin, for example, as far as with like how long of a distance it can move in a short amount of time, that's a bit different. If you've ever seen Bitcoin buy or sell 300 plus pips in 3 minutes or less, just go ahead and put some sevens in the chat if you ever seen that happen. That's just an example, 300 pips in 3 minutes or less. But if you've seen that John move, just go ahead and put some sevens in there. Okay, I see some sevens because that's definitely what it does. And it even does that at the best recommended times to. T has some sevens in the chat. It does that at the best recommended times to trade Bitcoin. Does anybody remember? If you're new, don't feel pressure to answer this question, but does anybody remember what the best recommended times are to trade Bitcoin, especially if you want to scout and get out of the market? I'm going to reiterate them again, but okay, that's a good time. That's a good time. All right, so we had 10 a.m. That's one answer we had there. That's definitely a good time. 5 to 7 p.m. Um, 5 to 7 p.m. I think is a little early, especially when the market's opening back up. Like the market just opened back up, and look at how Bitcoin acting. Just look at the screen. Like, what is that? What is that? It's not really doing too much right now. But yeah, so the best recommended times actually to trade Bitcoin, the best times are between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. well 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Those are good times. I'm gonna put it in. And then also, actually, around I have around 2:45 ish in the afternoon. So around that time. So let's say between like let's just say between 2 and 4. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. or even 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. I've seen a lot of things happen at that time. So another important aspect of like knowing these important times is because you definitely want to understand that with Bitcoin, what it does is it's like it'll make another move before it makes the actual move that it's supposed to make. So if you're expecting to get into buys around like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., you want to get into a buy, understand that Bitcoin is going to do some stuff like it's going to sell first. It's going to sell very fast. It's going to sell like over 100 pips like that easy. And so you definitely want to make sure that you don't get in for the buy around 7. You definitely want to make sure that you wait, let the market do what it has to do, let it make that initial move that it makes, and then you can buy. You can buy low, and you can get all those pips on the way back up. Does everybody understand that? And it's like this too. If you're expecting to sell, it's gonna do the opposite thing before it does what you have predicted it to do. So does everybody understand that with Bitcoin? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what they always say, patience pays. So you definitely want to make sure that you're being patient because I've definitely predicted a lot of things. I've predicted a lot of things, but just because I decided to get into early, that has definitely bit me in the butt and I've lost some money, but then had to. It seemed like you revenge trading because you just like, I gotta get all these pips back. Like I gotta get this money back, but that's why the best thing to do is to just wait um, and trade at those recommended times with what it is that you're predicting as far as with based off of what the market is doing. So do that. Do that. Okay, yeah. So it's definitely important for you all to trade consistently with Bitcoin because you get familiar with how this market moves. Um, get familiar with how it moves, and you also begin to notice certain patterns. You're going to be able to set your support and resistance levels because you see what the market is doing consistently, and it just makes your trading better because you're practicing, right? So it definitely just makes it better. But with Bitcoin, it's like it's best to you know stay current with what is going on. Like I've noticed that. Yeah, and just understanding that like Bitcoin and Forex is not like it's not gonna move the same. Like Bitcoin can sell 2,000 pips and decide to buy back 2,000 pips. I've seen that happen. Um, but you know for sure you're gonna get more than a guaranteed 20 to 40 pips. You know for sure. Like if you're doing a Bitcoin trade, your TP should never be like 20 or 40 pips. Cause it's like, I mean, it could be depending on your lot size. If you have a very high lot size and you know, but it never has to be that way. Like your TP could at least be minimum 100 pips, or even minimum 200 pips because Bitcoin will do it. It will do it. It's moved over 2,000 pips in a day, so it can do it. Um, does everybody understand that? Just put some sevens. That's all. All right. All right. Um, but yeah, as far as noticing the patterns, okay. Thank you for the dollar signs. Okay, so as far as noticing the patterns, um, yeah, that's definitely gonna be good for you because that's how I noticed um the best times to trade and when the market was rapidly moving. Like that's how I realized that from just the the consistent trading, looking at the market and then just being like, oh okay, so I noticed that it does this at this time. Um, so it's nice because it's like it's like dang, the market is about to make the move, and then you get in and it makes the move and it's in your favor. It's good. So I would just say definitely keep trading every day and being consistent. Um, and yeah, something else that you'll see as well is like what Bitcoin is doing right now. It seems like the market is moving very slow, and it's been consolidating for days. But it'll be those times as well to where it's like the market is moving slow. It's not really doing nothing. It could be a little irritating because, especially if you're used to seeing Bitcoin just, buy and sell just so rapidly, it's like when it's doing stuff like this, it's like it can get a bit boring. It can get a bit annoying and frustrating. But essentially, what I do is I just go trade something else. Go trade something else that I've already become accustomed to trading if I feel like trading in that moment, but not really trying to force the market's hand if nothing is really going on right now. So does everybody understand that? It's like if the market is moving slow, it's just there's no clear action. You just like you know what I'm saying? Like don't try to force, yourself by getting into a trade if you're just not comfortable. So put some sevens if you understand that. If you can incorporate that into your mindset that you don't have to trade it if there's nothing wrong. All right. So I went through all of my notes. Does anybody have any other questions? Does anybody have any other questions? And I guess I could show you how to actually get into a trade on MT4 since I still have MT4 up on the screen. Okay, so we have some seven. Okay, that's good. Does anybody have any questions? You could just put yes or no if it's something you're not clear about, or if it's another question that you have, or something else you want to add that I missed. I'm gonna give y'all 5 more seconds to put a yes or a no. Y or N. Okay. Okay, no questions. All right, thank you. Thank you. I hope I'm doing my best in explaining this information. But okay, so all right, so getting into a trade, um, essentially, all right, let me show y'all. Okay, so this is a demo account that I have. If I wanted to get into a Bitcoin trade, what I would do is I could click that icon that's on the top right. It looks like a piece of paper and it has a plus sign. So I'm going to click that, and that essentially is a new order. This is the screen that you'll be looking at when you want to put in a new order. So it says market execution at the top, which essentially means that I would be getting into the trade right now. But you can also change that if you wanted to do pending orders. So you just click the menu, and as you can see there, there's different pending orders. There's buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, and sell stop. So those are the different types of pending orders. I know that Chacha has some information on pending orders. So if you're not familiar with pending orders, then definitely ask some questions. But my favorite pending order to do when it comes to Bitcoin are definitely going to be buy stops. Um, definitely going to be buy stops because when the market buys, it's just going to keep buying, just playing. But yeah, my favorite pending orders are to do buy stops. But yeah, there's the other pending orders here that you can take advantage of. But essentially, yes. And The next line down, you see the lot sizes. So right now, it's a 50-cent lot size. But if I wanted to change it, I would just click that and change it to 0.01 is a penny. But for the purposes of me, I'll just put it to 10 cents. Okay, 10 cents. So then what you would do here is typically what I'll do is I'll just do market execution and then I'll go back and set my stop loss and set my TP. But your TP would go under the green line. That's your take profit. So it would go under the green line. And then your SL would go on the red line, which is right here towards the left, the red line. But typically what I do is, like I said, I'll get in market execution and then I'll go back and put in my stop loss and go back and put in my TP. But for me, with the strategy that I was using, essentially, what happens is I will set my TP for the next because if I'm buying, I'm gonna set my TP for the next support, the support line or area that I've identified. So, well, this market's not really doing too much right now. But if I wanted to, let's say if I wanted to get in for a buy, I can maybe opt to get in for a buy now because it's been rejecting off of that 29,973 area. So I would get in for a buy, and if I wanted to set my TP, I would probably set it at that 31,023.55. That's where I would set the TP to get out of the market. Now, this market looks like it might take some time because it's moving very slowly. It looks like it would take some time to get up there. But if you know, you know, with Bitcoin, it's like, that's not, let's see, how many pips is that? It's giving like 800 or so pips. So, like 800, 700 to 800 pips. So it's like, it can definitely, it can definitely buy 700, 800 pips very quickly. So that's where I would put my TP. Now for my stop loss, I would probably put my stop loss, depending on my lot size, like I would probably put my stop loss down to that next support zone, which is the 29,656. But if you want to, you can just set your SL for like, I would say a little more than 100 pips. So I would probably say 200 pips stop loss to give the trade some room to breathe. Because, like I said, with Bitcoin, it can definitely make a move before the move that you're predicting. So you don't want to get stopped out just for the market to turn around and go in the direction that you was predicting for it to go. Like that has happened to me plenty times. If that has happened to you, trading just in general, then you could put some seven just so I know that y'all know what I'm talking about. Like so that definitely has happened. Okay. That definitely has happened. Okay. So um I don't really know. Let's see. So y'all, I mean, we can try to get into a trade right now. The market doesn't look like it's doing too much. So I'm a little unclear about what's going on here. But y'all could tell me what y'all see. What do y'all see? I'm gonna mute.
All right, guys. So if you are enjoying this lesson and you're learning something, just drop some sevens in the chat. Spicy is being very thorough with her Bitcoin explanations. Okay, that's good.
All right, fam, I'm back. Okay, so did anybody put what they see in the chat? I know we have one vote for sale. Money Mantra says sell. Anybody else? You would just make an educated guess. Make an educated decision. Same sell. Okay, so I want to say a sell as well. I definitely want to say a sell as well, but I feel as though it'll probably be end up being a short sell. So let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead. We gonna get in for a sell and we gonna see what happens. So essentially, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to back to the trade screen and we're gonna click the new order and we're gonna get in for a sell. If you have your phone, just go ahead and take this in your demo account just to see what happens. Let's do it for if you're doing this in your live account, 1 penny, 1 penny, please, 1 penny. But if not, you could go ahead and put in for any lot size. I mean, do 50 cents, do 25 cents. Let's just do 25 cents. All right. So after you put your lot size in, just click sell. So now we're in this trade. That's essentially how you get into a Bitcoin trade. Is you're clicking the same buttons. It's the same concept for if you were getting into a forex trade. The only difference is going to be in your lot size. That's it. Your lot size and how many pips that you are expecting, and then also where as far as setting your SL and setting your TP. So that's really the only difference. So does everybody see how easy and seamless it is to get into a Bitcoin trade? Just put sevens in the chat. Okay, so we have some seven. All right, so let's go back here, and since we're getting in for a sell, let's go ahead and set up our what's it called our SLs and our TPs. Let's set up our SLs and our TPs. So based off of what you know about Bitcoin, where would you all put your SL and where would you put your TP? It's really no wrong answers. It's just that you try. That's all. Okay, so let me use my little thing here. Where would you put it? Would you put it right here? Right here? Would you put your SL would you put your SL right here? Would you put your SL right here? It's just playing. I'm just playing with y'all. Okay, so Cha Cha says she would put hers at the SAR. Well, these are the fractals. Let me move this up. Would you put your SL right here? This is a lot of space right here. But I think this is enough space for the trade to do what it needs to do. So what is that? 36.59. So essentially I put that on the line for SL. Then you just click modify and then it modifies your order. Okay, here. Then we can go back here and we can decide on what we want our TP to be. So based off of there being a support right here, based off of there being a support right here, right? And then you also have a support down here. Where would you put your TP? Okay, T says TP 29 8, what is that, 882? Oh, I'm sorry, 29 882. Okay, I mean that looks like it's a guarantee because you see that the market has been hella wicky, so it has definitely touched that area, but it didn't stay there. 29 882. Does everybody agree with this TP? And also being cognizant too that it's been rejecting in this area. Seems good. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in. Let's do 29. It's funny because I'm looking at my computer, but I'm doing this on my phone right here. So let's do. All right, let's just put in 29, basically 890. Let's put that in. So we're gonna go back here, hold that down, click modify, and then 29. Okay, so you put that in your TP, and then you click modify. Excuse me. Yeah, and at this point, you just let the trade play out, and we're gonna see what happens. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions for me? But that's what we did. We talked about, what did we talk about today? Support and resistance. We talked about lot sizes. We talked about the currency strength on Finviz. We also talked about just getting into a trade, also consistently trading, why it's important to do that, um, understanding how the market moves, and identifying any patterns and just becoming comfortable. And yeah, we also went over the recommended times to trade Bitcoin again, and we collectively got into a trade, a Bitcoin trade, and we went through how to do that on MT4. So that's what we did today. If everybody is good with that, just give me some sevens um, in the chat, and then I'll be done for today. Okay, good. All right, good. I always be nervous. Like, I be nervous. But with that being said, I guess that's it for me. I hope I was able to explain things the best way that I could explain things, and we'll see what happens um, with this trade. But yeah. All right, that's it for me, y'all. See you later.
All right, guys. So that definitely wraps up part one of our Forex training for today. I hope you guys really learned something and took something away from it, because you have to just apply what you know about Forex to that market. And then you can just level up and really learn to trade different things. So I always enjoy talking about Bitcoin. It's not my strongest suit. And I always learn something different. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the class and you actually learned something, drop a 7 in the chat. I'm actually going to be ending this video. I'm going to talk a little bit about TradingView, not for too long, just to actually look at some trade ideas for the week. And then we're going to wrap it up, but we should be done with everything by 7:30. So let me stop recording this.